The story starts in the past in a vast field with little sheep when suddenly the sky begins to crack. The poor shepherd girl already has her eyes wide open in shock. Then a giant eye appears, staring right at her. It was on that day that the Demon King's invasion began and countless creatures appeared. Guess who shows up alongside the Demon King? Ah, wait, not the Awakened like I thought, but this time it's the Divine Knights who serve God. The thing is, it's very devoted. They make a vow to God, and through that oath, they gain supernatural powers and push the monsters out of the land. However, the demonic miasma, which is a substance from the demon realm, stayed behind in high concentration in several areas. Most of the places where it existed were corrupted and died out. In an abandoned city, you can actually see a massive plant feeding on a fallen body there. Gross. Wait, no, it's a woman hanging upside down. And the story says that whoever survived really ended up turning into a demon, but then someone slices through it and the plant drops to the ground like trash. The vice commander of the Divine Knights, Karen, says they arrived too late. Oh, Seg name is Cheyenne weapon. That's right. Someone calls the vice commander and says the red moon has appeared. Damn, the last time I saw a red moon in the story, it didn't end well. Suddenly, they hear pounding noises, and a guy says there's construction up ahead, warning them to be careful. When that moon is in the sky, anything can happen. Karen steps closer to the site, and inside he spots a human. A little kid, big-headed, with eyes spread farther apart than anything else. Looks like that's our protagonist, since we skip ahead 15 years from the day he was found. In an orphanage cafeteria, someone says it's thanks to the Divine Knights that they can eat at all. They should be grateful. But then someone calls out the guy up front. It's Leka, asking why his portion is so small. The man doesn't look happy hearing that, and he just turns, saying it's nothing. From the background, he observes everyone in the cafeteria while remembering how his own village was attacked by demons when he was younger. He was the only survivor and was brought here to be raised by the knights. Everybody thinks it's strange that a baby all alone managed to survive. On top of that, they say the birthmark on his face is proof that he's a child of monsters. In other words, they don't see him as one of them. At that moment, someone throws a pile of old fish and scraps of food into his bowl, saying there isn't enough for a creature like him. Everyone in that place suspected he wasn't really human, and since all of them had lost their families to demons too, obviously he wasn't loved. The guy who threw the food calls over a crying child nearby. Leica knows this boy just arrived yesterday. The bigger man crouches down and says the child's father was eaten by a monster disguised as a human, the exact same kind of race as Leica. He wants him to apologize. Leica's confused, not understanding what's going on, but the kid is already shouting at him to give his mother back, calling him a pathetic monster. And with that, the man slams his head to the ground, saying if they told him to apologize, he better do it. So poor kid, he apologizes. What else could he do? White-haired protagonist. I thought he was about to flare up an aura, but looks like he's still got a lot of growing to do. Wiping the dirt off the floor, he says his routine has been the same for over a decade. Basically, you can't leave this place until you're an adult. On top of that, when you turn 15, you can be sent by the priest to become a Divine Knight. You have to pass the tests, and for Leica, there are just 5 days left until his turn. He can't stand being stuck in that cursed orphanage any longer and can't wait to get out. It'd be so much better if you could really become a Divine Knight. The scene shifts to a statue, and someone says the ceremony is about to start. Anyone who had turned 15 and wished to become a knight just had to step forward and make the vow. The shaved head guy next to Leica sneers, saying, a monster like him will never become a Divine Knight. Then the priest asks them, one by one, to step forward again and make their vow before the chalice. For those whose liquid turns blue, they cannot become knights, but those whose liquid turns gold are the ones who can drink it, then receive the vow and power. For the oath to work, they had to offer what was most important to them to that god. Besides that, this ceremony can only be done once in a lifetime, so they'd better be careful with what they choose to offer. The shaved head guy goes first, and he swears he'll never run away from any monster again. His younger sister had been eaten by a creature that stood right in front of him. Now he vows that no matter how dangerous they are, he'll kill every last one. The chalice begins to shine, lighting up the whole room, and suddenly the liquid turns golden. The man says a true noble has appeared, and now he can never run from the creatures again. He takes the cup, the priest blesses him, and the room glows. Right then, he feels a strange power flowing through his body. Everyone around is stunned. The second one steps up, declaring he swears he'll live as a wanderer with no family once he leaves this place, because for him, family was the most important thing of all. Seems like it worked too. Another goes, makes the vow, and it works. A girl steps up, makes hers, and it works too. Leica was sure he'd succeed as well, but of course, when it works for everyone else, it has to fail for you. Main character problems. He's called forward, and he steps up nervously. He says he swears he'll become a knight to protect people, but then he freezes, not knowing what else to say because he can't think of anything he could actually offer. He wants to leave this place and be happy, but he has absolutely nothing to give. The guy completely forgot you're supposed to think before stepping forward. Genius. He's yelling inside his own head, trying to convince himself that there must be something important within him he can offer. Suddenly, a strange energy begins to surge through his body, leaving him confused. At that moment, the liquid in the chalice turns into a weird purple slime. The priest immediately says he's never seen such a terrifying color before. He declares the ceremony over right then and orders everyone to leave. Leica tries to say something, asking them to wait, but out of nowhere, slice, his arm goes flying. Good lord. The people in the back start saying that just as they always suspected, he really was a monster after all. What the hell? Some of them already awakened, drawing lances and sprouting massive arms. Damn, I want to awaken too. They announce they'll kill him now, saying that this cursed thing pretending to be human won't leave alive today. But at that moment, the priest orders them to stop, saying that power cannot be used against humans. The very next second, the ceiling begins to crack and a fist smashes down from above, vaporizing the man. When they look up, there's a demon with some kind of mark on its forehead, glaring at everyone. People scream in panic, and clearly this wasn't part of the script, since even the priest looks terrified. The creature pulls the classic attack on Titan move, grabs someone by the leg and chomps them down. The priest yells for everyone to evacuate and call the Divine Knights, but then he's the one who gets caught. While the monster charges forward, Leica is sitting there missing half his body, staring in shock yet oddly calm. For someone who just lost an arm, he's taking it, okay, I guess. What scares him more is the demon standing right in front of him. The shaved head guy shouts for Leica to get out of the way so he can run, but strangely, he just keeps staring at the creature frozen. He remembers that during his vow, he promised he'd never run from monsters again. In that moment, the demon comes up from behind, and as he cries in despair, he's killed too. Another one is devoured while the kids around, fired up, start unleashing their auras, shouting that they'll have to defend this place. Man, they rush in like Dragon Ball Z characters. Meanwhile, Leica watches, fully convinced that at this rate he's going to be eaten too. But what could he do against a creature like that? He hadn't even received any powers. And right then, the monster, which now that I notice, looks like it's got thumbs for breasts, steps closer. It stares at him with that huge tongue and launches an attack, the mouth all tongue. Leica faces it, wondering if he's really about to die in such a pointless place. But then he remembers the chalice sitting behind him. In theory, if it changed color, it should give some kind of power. The attack's coming straight for him, and he decides whatever. Better to drink that disgusting stuff than die right there. The second he gulps down the liquid and hits his head like a seizure, and the tongue's already wrapping around his body. Damn, I thought he was about to unleash something insane, but nope, the kid got stomped flat. But it wasn't gonna end like that. An explosion erupts beneath the tongue, burning it away, and the kid wakes up like a Super Saiyan. What the hell? Completely different now, long black hair. Where's my Kiliba? He's staring at the monster, not even understanding what just happened, asking himself if this is really him. In that moment, his whole body feels strangely cold. A weird energy is flowing through his veins. The monster lunges again, but this time he dodges and finds himself face to face with it. He charges in, arm raised like Captain Levi, hurling himself straight at the tongue. He triggers an explosion spell, summoning a magic circle with purple lightning shooting out of it. What is this? The boy just evolved straight to Super Saiyan 16, flying there, aura flaring, glaring it down. He slams to the ground and reverts back, exhausted from the power he used. Behind him, someone mutters that this is impossible. They must be joking. But Leica notices something shocking. The arm that had been torn off and eaten has grown back. What on earth just happened? Suddenly, the word purification echoes through the hall, and a gigantic sword the size of a building comes crashing down, piercing the monster's chest. Someone steps onto the blade, saying they can't leave the body here or the miasma will spread through the city. The person apologizes for arriving late and asks if it was the boy who defeated the creature. Leica immediately recognizes this as one of the Divine Knights. Looks like they arrived blowing everything away because now the sky is clear and blue. They say the boy is truly impressive. Defeating something awakened like that wasn't ordinary at all. This is none other than the commander of the Divine Knights, Arthur. But man, Arthur's got a slim waist and wide hips, kind of unexpected. Leica, though, was completely fixated on that massive sword. He's never seen anything like it in his life. Then someone calls out to Commander Arthur, telling them to stop leaving everyone behind. Captain Wide Hips snaps back that everyone else is just too slow. The protagonist is still overwhelmed that the commander is standing right in front of him. He knew that if this person acknowledged him, he could finally leave the orphanage. But oh no, they've even got that little earring looking off to the side all cute. No way the artist really did that. Suddenly, Leica runs up to her, calling out to the Divine Knight and saying that becoming one of them has always been his dream. He's admired them forever and begs to join. But the diaper stainer right next to him interrupts, saying they should just kill this monster already. Arthur tells him to be careful about what he says regarding friends. Still, the guy insists this kid is the sole survivor of that village. He even saw him transform without making any vow and use a strange power. There's no way he's human. Leica tries to explain, but wham, a flick to the face sends the fool spinning. And she says outright that the boy just saved his life, and even so, he's spouting nonsense.